Very standard comp from these guys. The Maga plus the Far Cast, super standard. But Timeless goes for the Ramatra with the Tracer. This comp should just lose straight up. Like, there's no contest. This comp should just get flattened by the Maga comp, especially since the Maga comp is actually really good on this map. Take their initial setups. So the Maga comp is notorious for being a brawl heavy team, but in reality, you want to get your cast set up on angles. You want your Far to get set up on angles, and having the cast rotate like this with rack is really good. You can keep your Kiri safe back here, has direct LOS with the Maga. Your Far can play up here, peek around, put down pressure, come back, and is in direct LOS of your Kiri. Very good setup to start with. And then PGE can threaten this, forces all of these guys to back and give this space. So now NRG Shock have control of probably, I'd say, this area, roughly. So they control all of this area, which is really good. And they've just started the fight. They've just started their engage. So really good start from yeah, sorry. I just got a message from work. Let me respond to this real quick. Sorry guys. All right. Let's lock it. Force these guys to back off. So, yeah. How these guys ended up doing this is that half of, like, you've got these guys, this person backed off this way. You had the BAP pencil jump up, which I don't think is bad. You want to take this high ground positions. But then you had your Cass and your BAP rotate over here. And, like, I think the Cass is going to end up going up the stairs here, but, like, why not just rotate with your Ramatra? I don't know. Maybe it provides, maybe it's too juicy of a target then. Maybe you don't have the crossfire set up. But you don't have the crossfire set up when your cast is rotating, so you could still just inch on the Ramatra. I don't like this. Or this is Admiral. Admiral went up here. Never mind. BAP went over here. BAP did not pencil jump like this. I don't like how they split at the end of the day. I think that there needs to be a more cohesive idea of how they want to go about this. They should probably, I think that the cast just needs to rotate with the Ramatra and then take high ground, if that's what they want to go for. I think going back here and then rotating high ground is just like you're wasting too much time. Holy shit! Actually, he made that rotation really quickly. Never mind. Maybe I'm just smoking. I thought. Never mind. Disregard everything I just said. That was fine. That was totally fine. I thought Seeker would take significantly more time to get up onto the high ground. That's my bad. With that being said, though, I think I think Shock definitely could have taken the opportunity while Seeker was rotating to look for an engage onto Aerial. Scissors goes around the back. They hit a slam on Aerial, and then the pinch between the Maga and these people from over here, and then the Pharah. I think you probably could have killed Aerial, at least forced Lamp, Amp, all of the things. Or yeah, I'm looking at the right team. But yeah. But now we've devolved into the classic push first fight of everyone standing still until someone dies. Really cool, really engaging. And we should take bets to see how long this goes. Poke out Ariel, but doesn't matter. They're able to heal him up. Zera starts setting up on the flank, but is marked by Cal. Infected looks to swing, putting down pressure. Goes back around. Scissors gets shot, has to be healed up. So what was the trigger here from Timeless? Was it just Scissors getting halved? I think that was their trigger, yeah. So they recognize that Scissors up here has to drop to get support, and because of that, they can guarantee that Scissors and Infected will be stacked, so they can look for a more aggressive engage here. It's an interesting trigger. Let's see if it works, because I think it could. Like if they're able to hit a slow here and catch these two people, and then they're able to kill Scissors or something, I think it's really, really good. But let's see. Infected LOSs. They're not able to catch Scissors with the slow. They pop E with the Maga. And then they Kitsune. Infected does a good job of saving Pin. Seeker Noons, though, drops from high ground. Not able to catch anyone. I think I've already reviewed this. I think I've already looked at this, if I remember correctly. Because I remember that fight. We'll go through it anyway. Fuck it. Let's go back.
It's
So Seeker goes for this, goes for the drop. Scissors times it, so that as he's dropping, Scissors goes up, is able to hit a direct on him, and then eventually kills him. So good from Scissors. And then this slow is actually pretty decent to try and catch these guys. In fact, it is just inting to get it, or not inting, but the opposite. Charging out so that he can stay alive, which I think Infected is really, really good at that. Right, like recognizing, for one, saving his pin so he can do stuff like this, and for two, recognizing when he needs to get out. From everything that I've been watching, Infected is like really, really solid at that. Cal TPs. Does Rack die? No, Rack lives. Okay. And then good cleanup. I think this window... Let's go back and see when this window was popped.
It's
I don't know how I feel about this window. I don't like it. Like, as a gut reaction, I just don't like this. I don't like this window. Because one, only BAP can get benefit from it, and for two, like, these people have disengaged, so you don't, like, if you're gonna solo window yourself as BAP, you want to use it to support your team. Like, you want to be able to pocket your tank, keep them alive, keep everything going. But your tank's not really under pressure because the Maga's left. Your High Noon has just died over here. So it's not like your High Noon was up here, it popped, and then your cast could rotate to you so you can get value from the window. Your cast like dropped off, so he's dead. But no one else can really get value from this window. And if any of these guys wanted to push this way, for example, push Rack Attack and kill him, this window is useless. It doesn't. You can't help any of these people with this window. And although Bab does a lot of damage through window, it's not enough to kill these guys. It's not enough to kill Infected. So I don't like this window. I think this window's bad. Because, like, yeah, Ariel swings the corner to try to push aggressively, and now this window is pointless. Yeah, that window is bad. Oh yeah, this was the fight. So they've left infected on point, which I think is objectively bad. Um, like I would much rather they put like Cal here, uh, because like if they dump Cal on the objective and then they have infected up here, like as soon as there's any kind of pressure on the point, Cal can just TP away and then they can take the fight at this corner or just at the bridge in general. Um, but because Infected's on the objective, these guys are going to be able to just walk past him and go at his team and kill everyone. Or I don't remember which. I don't remember which happens. But there's two options. They can go here, or they can just go to poke out the Maga, and you can't really do anything as the Maga because you're so alone and so isolated. So Maga should not be the one pushing the objective. But yeah, Cal ends up having to drop. Rack Attack ends up having to drop. PGE uses the Noon. The Cage isn't great. But like they dumped so many fucking ults into this. Like I you should not have needed this many ults to try to do what you're doing. Are they able to kill Ariel? No, Infected goes down. How does Infected take so much damage? Yeah, and it just gets scrappy, and then once it gets scrappy, you always favor the defending side because they've got better spawns, and it's like... I think the original mistake was that Infected was on the objective, and then you go through there, and then it's like... You could have probably just caged barraged. You probably could have just used beat. Like, the ult usage there was not ideal. Yeah, so coming into this, slight ult advantage for NRG. I don't like that. I remember that one. That was a bad fucking barrage. Like that's I don't. As soon as they rip High Noon, you've got to cancel this. I don't think even if that's the plan, I think it's from a bad spot. Because Seeker rips the High Noon because he knows that all of these people, these two, he doesn't know it's just two. For all he knows, it could be the entire team coming out of this door. But for these people, they've got to cross this much distance to be able to do anything. And in that time, you can probably get a pick or something with the Noon. So I think the timing of it is good, and it looks solid. But this barrage is just like you've timed it so you've got the damage reduction and the lifesteal from it. But so does Seeker. Plus, with the Suzu, Seeker doesn't take any damage. And then Suzu is late onto Scissors to protect him from the Noon. And it's just bad overall. It's a good slam from Ariel. Yeah, this is the bad fight. That's the point. They mirror rushes. Both good. Zira, what are you doing, buddy? I think this is the same problem that Scissors just had. I don't like in these comps. You've got with the Maga Casvara. I think that using barrage in any capacity where you're not supported by like a sound barrier or a Kiri Suzu or Maga Shout or Maga Cage, if you don't have some kind of supportive utility from one of these characters come in combination with the barrage, you're not going to get any kind of value from the barrage, because it's like you're not able to live long enough. You're not able to actually do what you need to do. Plus, you're not waiting for any of these things to expire. You're not waiting for cooldowns to come out. You go for the barrage. They still have Suzu. Doesn't matter, and then you just die. Because, like, of course you do. Why not pause? Why not wait for a little bit? Why not wait until Ariel can hit a slam on someone? Why not come down here and solo barrage infected? Why not sit up here and solo barrage infected so that way you are playing in cover and not in complete LOS of this entire team? You don't need to make a hero play with barrage. You just need to kill one person. If you can guarantee one kill with barrage and live, that is more value than anyone's gotten than normal people get on Pharah. Because normally whenever you barrage, you die. It's a suicide button. I don't think there's another ult in the game that you can so reliably die after using it. So doing at it from this position, especially when they're in a Kitsune, because the speed boost allows them to just split super easy and you can't actually kill anyone. You have to use barrage in a better capacity than this because it's so strong and so reliable to be able to chunk down the tanks in this comp. I don't think you can get away with it. That was a weird slam from Infected. What was he trying to do? It's rotating. Probably just trying to get back to his team. I don't think it's needed though. Not that it matters, unless he dies. Then it definitely matters. Nope, it's fine. Nope, totally fine. And they denied forward, which is good. So looking at the ults, Timeless has the cage, has the sound barrier. NRG has beat and noon. So it's all going to depend on whether or not PGE can get value with his noon or Ariel can get value from the cage. Whichever one gets the more value here is going to win out. Or I think what's actually going to end up happening is NRG is going to play slow, play for cage, maybe play for barrage. If that's the case, then NRG are in a lot better position because these people aren't close to anything else. They can't really play for anything else. You go for this like noon play. Sound barriers used at the same time. Are they able to live through the cage? Nope. So I think there's one of two things that need to happen here. One, you need to be able to put pressure on point without using noon first. And then when they look to pressure the objective, then you pop noon. After that, it puts a lot more pressure on them, maybe forces out a defensive cage or something. But then once they've come to point, once you've popped noon, then you can look to go aggressive with it. And then if they cage you, because you've waited a bit longer, you've got something like Barrage more online. You've got something like Cage more online. You can play a bit slower for these other ults because you're trading 2 for 2. You have more of an advantage here. These teams are good enough where they should be able to track that they only have these two, and you know that you only have these two online. Just wait a bit longer, play a bit slower, get more ults online, guarantee the win. But now going into this fight, you've got Cage, Barrage, other teams coming up on Barrage and Noon. Let's see if Scissors can actually do something with the Barrage this time. Hopefully you can combine it with the Cage, and everything will work out. But both teams really trying to use this bridge as a staging area and what they want to fight over, which is good. Playing slow, jostling for position. Zero doesn't get caught, is able to go back over the high ground. They go for an engage. Yeah, I remember this one. This one was tough. So this kind of engage for one is super fucking telegraphed. So they've got a ton of time to react to it. So I don't like this to start with. But like in terms of options and what you can do, um, you might be able to play this corner more, like swing out, play this corner, and then drop cage. Maybe you're able to catch these guys. You don't necessarily have to try to int for them. But because you've inted for them, Ariel's able to turn around and hit a slam on your Maga, which is always like you don't want that to be happening. In fact, honestly, Infected's lucky that he didn't get his cage canceled. But Scissors is just inside the cage. It's able to get shot by Seeker and by Zera and goes down. It's not able to get value after the Suzu comes out, which is just tragic. Yeah. Because if Scissor barrages just a little bit further back and is completely outside the cage, Seeker's not able to shoot him, and Zera ends up dropping into the cage and getting caught, so Zera wouldn't be able to pressure him either. So I think it's a slight positioning mistake from Scissors. But they use Kitsune. Are they able to turn this? It's just the Maga, and Maga gets out. So good recognizing with the Kitsune being able to win that. And you're actually pretty satisfied with that, no? You've used these three, traded them for Noon and Kitsune, and now you're walking into a barrage potentially, and then maybe you've tracked that, like, then you've got to deal with these three with these two. I don't think that's horrible. Probably not your most ideal thing in the world. But I think it's not bad. Because you can use Noon to try to, like, if you separate your Noon from the cage, you can try to pressure the cage plays. Zera is going to be barraging the cage because they've been doing that pretty consistently. So you can pretty much guarantee a kill on Zera. And then you've got beat to sustain in the cage, or to mirror in their beat, which I think both are fine. So I think this like idea that they've got, where they use the cast and the beat to counteract the cage beat and stuff like that, and they just match Kitsune's, and then they use barrage and cage in response to the high noon. They've basically just flip flopped it. Timeless have opted to go for Noon plus Kyrialt to beat this combination. And then they want to match Kyrialt, or NRG wants to match Kyrialt, which I think is good. But I think that the setup from Timeless is better on paper. Because using Kitsune to break the enemy cage is just so fucking unbelievably busted. It's so good. Because your Maga shoots 2 times as fast, you get your cooldowns twice as fast. You can just break the cage and then win. So I think the setup, the idea here from Timeless is better. I don't know if it's a conscious decision or just how the alt rotations turned out, but I think the way that Timeless are playing, it's better. So they've actually put Cal on the point now, which is how they should have done it to start with. They're not able to take lead, which is unfortunate. But they still want to fight over this bridge. Swing out. Look to force Ariel into a corner, which they've done pretty effectively. Then they go for Noon. Very nice. They're able to catch Admiral. See, these are barrages that I like more. So they've done a great. NRG has done a great job of they take this wide angle and then force Ariel to take cover, and then they've got Scissors shooting in the back, and then they rip the Noon to try and get the kill here, or anyone swinging out here to try to help, in this case Admiral. And then they're able to catch Admiral between the Noon, and then Infected follows up and kills. Ariel pins out, and then they've actually Zero uses this opportunity of aerial disengaging. Zero knows that these people are going to want to push aggressively, and playing in this little corridor here, you're able to pretty safely barrage, and you can guarantee at least one and potentially two while in cover and make it pretty difficult for them to follow up and kill you. Excuse me. But with the Suzu, you're able to poke them out, and plus, I think with the Cal's able to kill you from longer range. They're able to get forward spawn. Infected goes down, but you don't really mind. You're able to kill the Curie. Good stuff, honestly, from both teams. NRG just backs off, plays bridge. I think that's the best play that they can go for. They want to play this Archer's choke. There's Suzu. Is that going to be a trigger? Not yet. But they definitely have it in mind. Okay, everyone has mashed their Q key. Let's break this down in order. So Ariel's gonna pin in. Doesn't actually commit around the corner, which I think is good. Yeah, stops here. Because if he commits around the corner and slams here, he can get a lot of pressure in on him for multiple angles, and it's more difficult for their Kiriko to support it. So I think it's good that he stopped here, and he also guarantees the catch on Infected. So drops the cage. Rack isn't actually caught by the cage to begin with, but they rip Kitsune to counter this, and then they also rip Sound Barrier. For one, I don't like the fact that they've instantly layered their support ults on top of each other. So I think that's bad for starters. I think defaulting to Kitsune to break cage is your best bet. And as soon as they've matched Kitsune, it should be a bit staggered. So the order of this should be cage, Kitsune, Kitsune, beat, beat. That's the order of how this should go. But instead, it's cage, beat Kitsune, Kitsune, high noon. And because of that, they're able to get more value from the high noon. You use Kitsune a bit earlier, and then you use beat a bit later because it takes longer for the noon to ramp up onto the beat HP, and you're able to hopefully break cage and then get more value from your Sound Barrier. And maybe if you mirror Kitsune's, so if both Kitsunes from both teams are layered on top of each other, you can try to bait them into using their beat sooner. And if you can use your beat later, you're better off because yours is later, you get more value from it, it lasts longer. But I don't like how they layered them on top of each other. There needs to be better communication of what they wanted to use into response to the cage, and I think it should default to Kitsune. Both teams use both ults, but they're able to break cage very effectively. How does Rack die? Is Rack doing something stupid? Is that a boop? I can't tell. Is that a boop from Admiral? Yeah, that's a really good boop from Admiral. I thought that Rack was feeding, but no. Admiral with a great boop to set this up and set the noon up to get kills. Very nice. It's able to get Rack. I'm surprised it doesn't kill PGE too. Or Scissors, rather. PGE kill Seeker. Alright. But that was a very, very big ult fight. Both support ults from both teams are used. We've got the barrage, but not quite online. Barrage on both sides. But the difference being NRG has Cage coming up. They've got Noon coming up. And the only real ult that Timeless has is Barrage. So it's gonna be, this fight's gonna be rough, and the next fight's gonna be rough because they also haven't gotten checkpoint. So they're gonna have to sit here and wait for butt scratch. So they can't take lead right away either. So it's gonna be tough. They have to back off and hold bridge. It's unfortunate. So same kind of setup. How do they go about doing this? Do they want to bait them into fighting in the choke? They don't really want to fuck with the high ground, which I think fair. It's totally reasonable. So they go aggressive here. I don't know if you needed both. I would have liked to see them save one of these DPS ults. So as soon as they look to swing, they go for the shout. They go for the solo barrage. I think the solo barrage in and of itself is fine. I don't think you need the Noon. Realistically, the Noon doesn't do anything once the barrage kills the Maga, because like the both of these ults, the way that they were used, they're used for the same function, and it was to like put this Maga into a bind that eventually kills him. The barrage is a lot quicker. The Noon is a bit slower, but both of them result in the same thing, in that the Maga has to play this corner, potentially back up through here, or tries to pin out this way. Either way, I think the Noon kills him, and obviously the barrage kills him. So I think you only need one of these. I don't think you need both. And the barrage from Zero is a bit questionable as well, to be honest. But I'm not going to comment on it too much because you're just trying to equalize. You're trying to level the playing field, and you just get punished. Not the end of the world. It's the only ult you had as well. So, if any, actually, that might make a better argument for them to have saved it. But see, if you're timeless here, you want to play slow. You want to guarantee a fight win with Cage. If you've got your ult tracking right, you've tracked that you're pretty similar pace on Kitsune, and they're going to have high Noon up about the same time as Kitsune. You should be able to track that. Both of the Kirikos have been pretty on pace with each other, so you can use that information as a benefit. So you need to be aware that your Cage is probably going to be countered by a Kitsune. So one of two things has to happen. One, you have to play aggressively with your Cage, look for value before they have Kitsune, or you have to be prepared for your Cage to break immediately, and you have to have a response for their Noon. So you need to, like, that's what you need to play for. So there's a world where you drop Cage, put the Cage down, they Kitsune, you Kitsune, Cage ends up breaking, but they rip Noon in the process, but you've saved Pin, maybe you go for a slam onto the cast. You need to have some kind of plan to deal with this, because you're technically at an ult disadvantage, I would say, because of how well Kitsune beats Cage. Like you have to look for something. You could also try to isolate someone with Cage. Like if you get an individual, like for example, if you catch a Lucio or you catch the cast or something like that, and you can actually kill them before the Kitsune actually arrives, that's also a win condition. But if you catch the Maga in the Cage, you're probably looking. It's pretty neutral, honestly, because you're mirroring Kitsune, so the Maga actual 1v1 is pretty even, but the cage just will die. So it's pretty even at that point. Are they able to kill Seeker? Nope. But they're gonna play slow here. Try to build up their other ults. Both teams want to play for that. Both teams want to play for their Kitsune. They want to play for Seeker to get High Noon as well. So. They actually save the Kiri ult. They greed it a bit more. They're able to keep Infected alive. Yep. That was very well played. I don't actually know who wins this, but the ult layering from Cal was really, really good. Maybe waited a bit too long, if anything, but the idea was there, and the idea. So you cage, they Kitsune, you knew they were gonna do that. They High Noon right away, so you can't really pin them out of it. Scissors goes to go aggressive. They see the Kitsune or the Suzu comes out. Once you've Suzu'd, and they actually pull the High Noon and do a shit ton of damage to Infected. I think that's the trigger, or them using Suzu as the trigger, so that you can get Suzu up faster. But you're able to punish Zera, who's trying to punish Infected. You could have probably Kitsune a bit earlier, and maybe Infected lives. Do you win this if you're NRG? Mirror beats, PG has Noon. Yeah, you should win this. Yeah. Yeah. Good layering. The fact that you did have all these other ults, I think, makes the layering a lot better. I didn't realize that they were coming up on all these. So the layering actually is really good, I would say. But yeah, good win for NRG.